Touchdown, back on road. Counting money, man, you know how it goes. Hit the VIP and tell my bitch to strike a pose. Hop in mode, hop in mode. Just touchdown, back on road. Counting money, man, you know how it goes. Hit the VIP and tell my bitch to strike a pose. Hop in mode, hop in mode.
So, man, coming to the Barcode podcast, man, I got a special young lady, from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Probably young again, because a lot of days I feel old, older.
I feel the same way sometimes too, Steph. Believe me. But black don't crack. Look at us. The average person, they look at me and they don't even know that I'm 36. No, 36? I thought you was much younger. So you look good. Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. But like I was saying, coming to the Barcode podcast, man, Milwaukee native, man, 2006 graduate from Milwaukee King High School, alumni. And let's not forget, hey, woo, even though I'm B-House, I'm Vincent, but I love y'all Kingers.
Yeah. Okay. Well, okay.
Yeah. Cleveland State.
Yes.
The University of Cleveland State alumni, and we have CEO of Priority. And
yes,
we're going to get into that. So thank you, Stephaine Crosley, for coming to the Barcode podcast. I appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for thinking of me and inviting me on. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, Steph, I could tell you happy. And it makes me feel like really, really comfortable and excited to do this because I felt that you were excited, even though we were texting and stuff. But yeah, definitely feel excited. So, but before we get into the show, I got a couple true false questions. Okay.
Ooh, okay.
Not a couple. I got 4 of them. All right.
Okay.
I added one for Steph. All right. So the first one is camels have 3 sets of eyelashes.
Oh, it's a true false. That's weird. 3 sets of true.
Wow, Steph, that is true. That is correct. So you was like indecisive, like,
because I had to think about it, and I thought I just envisioned a camel, and the camel's eyelashes would be popping. So I thought, when I want my lashes popping, sometimes I put on 2. I'm not a camel, so I'm like, let's just go ahead and go with 3. So yes, true.
That is correct. All right. Cheating on an exam in Bangladesh is a punishment by imprisonment.
That seems extreme. So I'm gonna say true.
Wow, Steph. And you know what? First of all, the correct answer is true. So that is correct. You got it right. And the reason why I wrote this down, I'm like, Stephanie went to King. Let me put her brain to work. So I like that. That's true.
How those generous.
There are 5 zeros in 100,000.
That is true.
That's true. Okay.
That's true.
You 3 for 3 so far. Okay. Last one. 2005, Milwaukee Vincent won the state title.
Wait. 2000. You know what? We did back to back 3 times. Was it 3 times? Oh my gosh. Dupree wasn't there in 2005. Well, this is tricky. But I feel like we did back to maybe it was 2 times. I'm gonna say true.
Steph, that's false. I'm class of 2005. We lost.
Who'd y'all lose to?
Madison Memorial.
But y'all went.
Yeah, we went 2 years.
We didn't go.
I don't know. In 2005. Oh no, that's true. Yeah,
I don't think so.
I think
we did back to back my freshman and sophomore year. I don't really know about my junior year. My senior year, I know we didn't do it, but Okay, it was about Vincent. That's why I got it false. So let's just call a spade a spade.
Okay. Thank you for participating in the true false, but you got 3 out of 4 though, Steph. So yeah, but let's get into the show. I want to start off by who inspired you to play basketball?
Ooh, you know what? I think it was just everybody around me at the time because I've always been tall for my age. So when I was in elementary, I actually went out for the cheerleading team and I made it, but then we couldn't afford the cheerleading uniform that I needed. So I didn't really get to cheer. And everyone used to like, you're so tall, you should play basketball. You're tall, you should play basketball. And it kind of just went from there. And I just played and shout out to God because I happen to be good at it.
Yeah. And going into it, were you good or was it a grind to get where you wanted to
No,
be?
I was for my age, I was good for my age. I was very, I would say bad. I was very, I had a really bad attitude at that time, and I was just really aggressive. But that's why I would say it's a God given, it was a God given ability because I didn't like practice to be good. I was just good once I started playing for my age range. And then after that, practice because I never practiced prior to. So then once I started to practice and get familiar with basketball and what it was, I end up getting better along the way.
Yes, yes. And for people that don't know who's tuning in, how tall are you, Steph?
I'm only 5'11".
Only that is tall for a woman.
For a woman, it is. Sometimes I don't feel tall.
Yeah. Now I do want to ask you this though, Steph.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and this is like just kind of like off the topic, just a tad bit, because I know women who are tall, women love to wear heels. But when you dating a guy, do he got to be the same height as you, or do he got to be the same height as you when you wear the heels?
Honestly, I just recently had experience dating someone taller than me. I never really dated anyone taller than me. That's shocking. So it never really was an issue. However, now that I've experienced that, it's like, okay, I want somebody a little bit taller than me because it's just more of a dominance, I think. And it feels more safer to be with someone taller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most definitely. Thank you for answering that.
No
Okay. That was
problem.
really like off the topic. But back to the topic. Now you started playing basketball because of course you couldn't afford the cheerleading, so you chose the basketball route. And as you continue to play basketball, you got better. And one thing I always heard was the relationship that you and Asia Beckham had. Can you just take us like,
Yeah,
how you
that's my
guys,
girl.
yeah, take us on how y'all met, in the
Ooh.
basketball world or off the court.
I don't remember our first encounter, but it was through basketball. And then we start playing AU with Playground. And we was poor, not Asian, but we was poor. And Asia family just really became like my second family and took me under their wing. And Asia was good, I was good. And together we were just like the bomb and our friendship just grew.
Mm,
Um, over time. So shout out to the Beckhams because they really looked out and they are so supportive and I just love them.
yeah.
But yeah, it was in the basketball community because we didn't like even with in middle school was when we first met. We never played against each other. In like the middle school leagues. We never played. She went to Sarah Scott, I went to Hartford. We didn't have any overlap, but hey you, shout out to Playground and Coach Money, Jeff Smith, because he brought us together.
Yeah, yeah, because I was just talking to Asia about a couple weeks ago, and she's telling me about how close y'all were, and the AAU.
Still are.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
my
yeah.
best
I'm sorry.
friend.
Yeah, still is. I'm sorry, still
Yeah.
is. But she was telling me about the playground days and how y'all traveled and y'all got it in. You remember some of the tournaments y'all went to?
Oh, we went to some the name of the tournaments, absolutely not. My memory sucks. But we traveled some of everywhere. Like I literally got on my first plane ride with Playground, and I actually sat next to Asia's sister and her mother, Kayla Beckham and Angie Beckham. So shout out to them. We went to Florida for nationals, and it was a dope experience. It was really great talent. We lost by Asia hit a 3 at the buzzer and they waved it off, but we were already in double overtime. So I think the referees were just, tired and was just like, no. And we cried that day. That was like the most memorable tournament because it was very intense. I think the score was like 103 to like 102. It was really intense, but that was probably my most memorable. But we've traveled some of everywhere.
Yeah.
Literally, you know how AAU is.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely. I advise all all parents to put their child in some type of sport because it just teaches you so much. And I know for specifically basketball allowed me to see outside of Milwaukee. So from as close as Illinois to you know to Florida. Where else? I'm trying to think of where we've been in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Indiana, all those good stuff, all that good stuff. I'm trying not to mix college and AAU together.
Yeah.
We've been everywhere.
Yeah. So overall, basketball done showed you a lot, like all of us. So, so the question I want to ask Asia, oh my God, you got me thinking about Asia.
It's okay. Shout out to Asia.
Yeah, shout out to Asia. But the question I do want to ask does have Asia name in it. With you and Asia being so close, why did you choose King and not Nicolay?
Asia was supposed to go to King, actually. That's weird. That was her community school, actually. But she ended up having to go to Nicolay with her sister. But King, I underestimated my talent in basketball, and I knew nothing about Rufus King girls basketball program at all. I went to Rufus King because of academics. I was smart and I got in. And I still remember like when they held the basketball informational after school, I sat at the freshman table my freshman year. They was like, okay, if you playing freshman, you playing JV, you playing varsity. I sat with the freshman, like, okay, I'm gonna play freshman. And Coach Doc, shout out to Alina Cunningham, who was my high school basketball coach. She came to the freshman table. She was like, "You're Stephanie Crosley?" I'm like, yeah. She was like, "You go to varsity. Go sit at the varsity table." I'm like, "Okay, I'll see y'all later." To my friends, I'll see y'all later. This is weird, but so yeah. So that was. I had no. I don't know. I underestimated myself for sure when it came to basketball, especially transitioning from middle school to high school.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the experience would be like.
Yeah, exactly. So you go to King, and you just really there for academics, and you like, oh, I play basketball. I've been playing basketball.
Yeah, I went to King because they didn't have a swim pool too. I'm like, I ain't getting in no water because I heard swimming was mandatory in high school. So, and I'm like, oh, Rufus King don't have a swim pool. They accepted me. I'm going there.
I'm going, yeah, because I had a swim class too, and coaches looking at me crazy. I got a C in swimming. I'm like, bro, I'm not getting that deep end. So I had to take that, but whatever. So yeah, you choose King, and when you go in King, you just anticipating, for academic.
Bare minimum.
Yeah, so you sit on the freshman side, you get called up to the varsity. Now you playing varsity basketball. Now, how was that transition for you coming from middle school and then just playing straight varsity?
It was different because varsity at the time, Rufus King girls basketball was actually on the rise. Like they were just like starting to establish themselves in the city conference. So when she asked me to play varsity and I start, practicing and playing varsity, I wasn't the star player like I was in middle school. So that was like and I was still at this age, I didn't know how to control my emotions. So I was still very aggressive and very angry and was kind of like, why am I starting? Why am I not playing? So the transition was a bit hard. But shout out my teammates. We had really solid relationships. So after time, I overcame that. But the transition was a lot different.
Yeah, like jumping, like coming from middle school ball and then going to high school and playing
It's
varsity.
faster. People are actually, you have good players on each team versus, blowing people out in middle school. It was different.
Hmm. Now, when you wasn't getting all that playing time, did you want to be a cheerleader for King?
I never wanted once I crossed over to basketball, I never thought to be a cheerleader again. But
Okay.
shout out to our cheerleading team. We had one of the best cheerleading squads still to this day.
Yes, y'all
Yeah,
did.
so
Yeah,
shout out to them.
yeah. So what year would you say that you had that breakout basketball year for you? Like what year would you say your sophomore, junior year?
I would go my sophomore year. Sophomore year, we graduated a lot of seniors freshman year. And we had just like we have finally crossed over to being like a team to watch because freshman year we actually snapped Washington's 11-year streak. Washington has never lost to at that point, Washington had never lost to a city conference team in 11 years. In my freshman year, we snapped that. And so we were like a team to watch at that point. Sophomore year, we had graduated out of senior, so now it's like it's my time to shine. As a sophomore, we had a solid team. I had a different role. We actually went to state my sophomore year. We lost, but we did go to state. But yeah, it was the sophomore year. I think was my breakout year.
Okay. I'm pretty sure you can remember who was all on that sophomore year team, right?
Yeah. Shout out to Landry. She's still one of my favorite players. She just actually retired from basketball. She was overseas playing for I think 13 years. But Landry was a part of that team. Tierney Green, Mary Walker, Danielle Ward. Shout out to Danielle. Was Danielle part of that team?
Danielle was very tall. I think she
She
was.
was like 6'4". Danielle, and so we had a solid team, like a lot of role players that played really good together. Like we didn't have like 7 standouts. We just had a couple of really good people, and then a lot of role players who did what they had to do to get us to the next level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, y'all definitely had to be on the same page if y'all had a state run. And you said y'all wound up losing upstate. You remember to who?
Nope.
We all
I
remember
don't
who we lost to.
remember. We lost though.
We
Who
all
was
remember
the
who
team
we
we
lost
lost
to, Steph.
to? Oh my gosh. It's at the tip of my tongue. We lost though. I know we lost.
Mhm. Now, I want to talk about like like you said that you had like an anger problem, you was aggressive. Where do you think that came from? Just
Oh,
like,
childhood trauma.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say like, were you playing with like boys when you were growing up? Like, okay.
I just had
Oh,
a lot of built up anger in me as a child, and just and basketball was my outlet, so I just used that to release just stress,
yeah,
not
and
knowing that that's what I was doing. But hindsight is 2020.
yeah. And I think I always told you this, that you was very aggressive to me in high school. You was one of the females that I was kind of scared to say hi to back in the days, you
But
know.
I was really nice off the court. I was really aggressive. You only knew me through basketball, and yes, absolutely. I was one of those players that people just like hated playing against. I wasn't like a Dennis Rodman, to say the least, but I was like, aggressive player. I would talk smack to the fans. I was a player to tell the fans to shut up. Like I was that player at once upon a time. But off the court, I was just like, hey y'all.
And I think that's probably why me and you been cool for so long, Steph, because I'm
Yeah.
the same way. Like I'm on the court, man, don't say nothing to me, shut up.
I'm
Off the
talking as
court,
much crap as I can on the court.
exactly. And then I was silly off the court. So, that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So how would you explain your head coach? How was your relationship while at King?
We had a great relationship, actually. I do credit her. I don't have too many women role models, or I didn't have a lot of women role models growing up. But Coach Doc really took me under her wing at that time, um, and showed me a lot of tough love too. That I'm very grateful for. To this day, I remember her kicking me off the team senior year just to humble me. And I almost lost my scholarship because of that. Yeah, I remember my college coach calling me like, "You think I want a player who can't even stay on a high school team? Like, I think I'm gonna reconsider." All like, I was like, "Oh no, let me get my life together." At that point, but senior
Yeah.
year, I got kicked off the team. What's so crazy is around that time, I got kicked off the team, and that was literally around the same time we were preparing to play Vincent, and Coach Griff had passed away.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So the game was canceled. And that day they was like, is Stephaine playing? Is she not playing? Like, what's going on? Because I was off the team. Um, and it probably most likely would have been a game time decision, but it ended up being scrapped because Coach Griff had passed away. But shout out to Coach Griff. I had nothing but love for him. He loved the mess out of me as a player. He tried to convince me to come to Vincent so hard, and I just could not get over like, Rufus King doesn't have a swim pool. I'm going to King. But yeah, may he rest in peace. But yeah,
Yes.
Coach Griff definitely tried to get me to go over
Yes.
to Vincent.
Yes. Rest in peace, Coach Griffin, dude. He was a wonderful man. I had a good relationship with him while being at Vincent as well. So yeah, rest in peace to Griffin, man. And yeah, I want to get into the state run too, Steph. And I want to talk about, the numbers you put up and stuff. But as far as the state run, I know earlier you told me that of course you had an appearance and you fell short. But explain that feeling when you first went to state when you felt like, it's my team, or we really got a chance. How did you feel going upstate?
Oh my God. And it's so crazy because it was like, because in high school, that's the one thing you look forward to. Like, this is like, if you can say you won state in high school, that's a big deal. You know what I'm saying? So once we were on our way there, it was like, just taking the moments, really really embrace it all. And that's we went in, we did shoot around, or we practiced on the court, we prepared, and it just wasn't good enough. They outworked us. And what I recognized at that time is that we were just we were under prepared. Like, the city conference is a lot different when you go out into and start playing these other schools. So it was like, leading up to that was a big deal. Even like looking at the clock going and knowing you about to lose was like, I cried a lot. Like, we made it and we lost. That's embarrassing. Because we didn't lose by like 3 or 4. We lost by double digits. So
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Steph. When is your birthday, Steph?
September 23rd. I'm
Oh,
a Libra.
oh, okay. I'm an Aries, but I just feel like we got a lot of the similarities. Like, we so tough on the court, but the minute we lose, we like.
No, I'm definitely I'm a crybaby for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah. Now you fell short upstate. What award did you get? First team, second team? Before
That
leaving,
year,
or yeah,
I think.
or before leaving King. Like, I want to know
Oh,
some.
I got City Player of the Year my senior year. I don't remember what I came in Ball State, but even with the City Player of the Year, it was some back and forth between me and Jerry Miller at Washington. Jerry was a beast. Is Jerry last name Miller? It might be, but Jerry was a beast at Washington, and so it was a tough call. But I did walk away with the title. So yeah, that is one of my accomplishments for sure.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Now, that's actually dope. You know, I remember that around that time because you are class of '06. Like I just remember the city conference for the women basketball was dope, you know, because you know we over there just rooting for Myosha, but we do recognize the talent at King and Washington and all the
Mhm.
other schools and stuff. But what all schools did you have offering you your senior year?
Not many. Maybe no, really just Cleveland State. That's why I committed so early, and so quick. Um, I was an undersized post player at the time where, post players were like 6'2", 6'3", over 6 feet. I'm tall for a woman, but I wasn't tall enough to play ball. So I did get overlooked, I think, and I feel like that's why I had like a chip on my shoulder when I got to college. And that's why I did commit. I committed, I think, like August, my senior year. So this is before I even won a city conference. I'm just like, oh my God, like I'm not having like as many Division 1 schools. Look, of course you got the Division 2, Division 3, and no shade to anyone who played, a lower division. I just thought at the time, like, I want to play Division 1. In my mind, I want to go to the league. I want to play basketball. I want to go to WPA and all this stuff. So Cleveland State was the only team that really offered me at the time. I remember I was working at Walgreens and I was, going back and forth. The lights had went out at work.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting, I'm thinking, and I'm like, I might as well just go ahead and commit. Like these people have been showing up. Like they were recruiting me so hard. And for me, that said a lot. Like just the consistency and the belief in me. I'm like, I'm just gonna go ahead and commit. So I text her and she's like, Stephanie Crosley, did you just commit via text message? I'm like, yeah. So then she called me and we like, okay, I'm going to Cleveland State. I didn't even go on a visit prior to committing. That's how I was just like, you know what? They want me. I'm going. I'm not missing this opportunity. And that's how I ended up at Cleveland State. But I didn't have a lot of schools knocking on my door.
Wow, that's crazy. And do you think, and because you know we from the same era, do you think it was because you know we just had what Preps Plus and what the newspaper? Do you think your recruitment was tough because of like we didn't have as much social media or what?
Well, yeah, a lot of it does. Well, we had AAU, and AAU was a big deal. And I was on a team that traveled. I participated in a lot of events. I would just say the talent then too was a lot better than it is now. I mean, I'm not, too full of myself to say like maybe I just wasn't as good as I thought I was compared to a lot of talented people. But I am thankful that I was able to, get that scholarship.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, and you did receive a scholarship. So so you choose to go to Cleveland State. Uh going into Cleveland State, how would I want to talk more about the school side for you? Because you know you coming from King, you very, very smart. Uh how was the education like? Did you pick a major right away?
Mhm.
Did you feel like it was easy going to Cleveland State for our school wise?
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, my baby been fussy. I'm
That's cool.
hoping he stays asleep through the rest of this interview. But no, I did pick my major right away. I consider myself a very intelligent woman. However, I did not have the confidence to go with the major that I did choose. So originally I wanted to do TV and radio broadcasting. But then once I got to school and I started taking classes, I'm like, oh hell no, I cannot be in front of anyone's camera. I don't have the confidence. And growing up, I did have a speech problem. So that like had triggered me and like anxiety clouded me. And I'm like, oh no, let me figure out, let me look at the list of majors and see what else I'm interested in. So then I did switch my major to social work. And then I minored in communication. However, with me being on campus for basketball, like during the one semester in the summer, I was able to upgrade my minor to a major. So I did graduate with two majors, two bachelor degrees in communication and social work.
That is dope, Steph. talking about you shy in front of cameras.
I was. Ain't that? But life comes full circle because look at me now.
Yeah. Yeah, on the real. Full of full of energy. I love it.
Yes.
But yeah, so how were you able to juggle both? Was that was that a shock for you, like juggling school and then basketball? Because playing basketball on a full scholarship. A lot of these kids don't know this, but playing basketball on a full
That's a
scholarship
full-time job.
is a full-time job. So how did you juggle both?
I think well, I think I've always just been just like a disciplined person because I always wanted more. So I knew that like I'm here to play basketball, so I have to perform. Like I have to show up. I have to give it 100% so that I can continue to keep my scholarship. And then academically, I also knew that, this is my way out. This is
Yeah.
my like I'm the first person in my family to attend and graduate college. So, I have to do this. So I think like mentally being prepared, in addition to the school having that support system around the student athletes, was helpful. And then two or three, um, my sophomore year, our coach named my class captains. So we were captains from sophomore year, through senior year. And that within itself, like, okay, now you're a leader. Like you have to show, we're changing the culture of this university. You have to show, you have to be a role model to those who, just are around you. So I think combination of all of that kept me on the straight and narrow.
Yeah, yeah, and that's dope. Now I want to ask this too. How many, I know you went there. I know Destiny Blue went there, rest in
I was
peace.
a Destiny, rest in peace.
Yeah. Was there any other Milwaukee
Hmm.
chicks that went?
Yeah, our coach, she has she had an obsession with Wisconsin kids. So we have Britt Porter. Britt, she isn't from Milwaukee, but she's from Clinton, Wisconsin. She was above me. So we have Brittany, we had Dominique Butler, who went to Madison High School. Shout out to Dominique. Which Dominique was class of '05 in high school. And then you had me, and then you had Janelle and Destiny.
Okay.
Um, and it probably most likely was some kids that came, some students that came after that, but I played with Janelle and Destiny.
And I bring that up. I bring that up, Steph, because I always said this too. This is before the podcast and everything. I feel like you opened them doors for like Milwaukee women and like the Cleveland State. Do you agree with that or?
I think I had some influence, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I think I had a nice hand in recruiting Destiny and Janelle to Cleveland State. So yeah, I do. But I gotta shout out Dominique who opened that door prior to though.
Okay, yeah, okay. Dominique. Oh yeah, Dominique's '05 with me.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and so I want to get into basketball now. Going into Cleveland State? Um, was it kind of like going into King where you playing on a high level, but you ain't getting much time, or did you start out Gate, or how was that?
No, so it was actually different going into Cleveland State. So, backstory, like I told you, I committed to Cleveland State without going on a visit. I eventually went on my visit and it was a horrible visit. And I told the coach, I'm a vocal person. I told the coach, I said, had I come on a visit before I committed, I wouldn't have committed. So once I said that, she must have went back, and this is I didn't know any of this till I got on campus, but she used that kind of like lit a fire in her to restructure the team and the culture. Now Cleveland State, when I committed, me and my class committed to Cleveland State, they had only won 8 games in 2 seasons. So that's an average of 4 games per season that they're winning. So they're a losing team, bottom of the barrel team. And then, once I vocalized, what I said, I think that, made them go to the drawing board and start to, just like weed out, like, why are we not the team we need to be? And so when I got on campus, some of the players that were still there were kind of like, oh, this girl, she caused all this riffraff, between, because it was a whole bunch of mess from my statement. So I felt like, but when I went to Cleveland, I already knew, like, okay, let me go and, like, I have to go in and just prove myself, because this is another level. It's middle school, it's high school, now it's college. I already did what I did in high school. So when I got there, I actually started as a freshman at the 5, the first 8 games, then I got hurt. But I think that, like, once I got on campus and we, like, they got to know me and the culture was starting to shift, they appreciated my statement.
Yeah, it's
They
almost
appreciated that.
yeah, it's almost like you brought them together after your statement.
And I didn't know that.
Now people know that, so I could just picture you now back then, like, like, listen, this up. I'm coming
It
from
wasn't
Cleveland.
right. It was not right.
Yeah. Now, how would you explain like the part? Because of course it's Cleveland State, but how was it like living in Cleveland?
Cleveland's very similar to Milwaukee, so it wasn't a huge adjustment at all. We were downtown Cleveland, but it literally was like the same vibe. There's no difference. So it's
So
Milwaukee all over again.
you feel like you
I
was
felt at home.
yeah, you feel like
For sure. I felt at home.
So now you get hurt, and well, you told that backstory, and a lot of people don't know this, and this is why you're on the platform, so appreciate you again. So they had won 4 games, well, 8 games in 2 years.
Yeah.
And in the school history, you got 2 Horizon League championships, right?
Can do. Yes.
Yeah.
That's one of my big accomplishments in real life. Because and I don't take full credit for that. I definitely attribute that to my class at Cleveland State. So the class of 2010 that consisted of myself, Angel and Jessica Rope, which are 2 twins from Canada, and Kaylee Klein, and she's from Illinois, Cherry, Illinois. And Kaylee is, like, in the Hall of Fame at Cleveland State, knocked down so many different records. So shout out to her. But I went to Cleveland State. I started the first 8 games. I got injured. I was out for the remainder of the season. But my freshman year, we did win a total of 8 games in one season. Okay. So that was growth. Exactly. Sophomore year, we came back, and the coach named my class again. That's me, Kaylee, Jessica, Angel as team captains, which is like a big deal because most times it's the seniors that are the captains. But again, this was her approach and strategy to change the culture. So you have 4 young ladies who are used to winning. We have a winning mentality already. It's like we're not coming to Cleveland State to accept what was already happening. It's like, oh, we're not losing. It's not okay to lose. We came to win. That's all we know. So you take these 4 young ladies, you put them in a leadership role, and we all have different leadership styles, but in turn it ended up being like a great thing. Sophomore year, we won the first Horizon League championship in Cleveland State history. We went to the big dance. I was on crutches when we first went. Again, I got hurt again. I just had a string of stress fractures. So but it taught me to lead in different ways. So maybe, I wasn't able to get on the basketball court. Okay, how else do I empower my team or put my team in a better position to win from the sideline? So it opened up different strengths within me. Junior year, we lost, or we had a winning season. We just didn't make it to the big dance. And then senior year, we went out with a bang. We had to go get our ring, and I was actually on that team. I was on the team sophomore year, but I was on purchase when we went. Senior year, I was actually on the floor, and we walked away. In Green Bay at that time, they were killing the league, like barely losing, ranked nationally. So it was a big deal, and we beat Green Bay in Green Bay. And if you know Green Bay fans, that's a tough place to play in, a tough place to win in, and we did it. And so, shout out to Cleveland State Vikings.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Again, like I really do appreciate you coming to the show for real.
Thank you.
You showing love while you got your beautiful child in your hand.
Oh, yes,
that like for me, Steph, that means a lot, because you could have easily said, "Oh, well, my baby sleep," or whatever the case, but you still took the time and did this. So I appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Like the journey. I ain't gonna hold you up for too much long, but I, got some more questions to ask you. So just
you're fine. You're
fine. Okay. So so you graduate, right, with the 2 degrees that you have from Cleveland State. Now, life after basketball, and I say that because, of course, you told me that you didn't go play overseas basketball, which I feel like you could have. Did you have an opportunity to play overseas basketball?
You know what? That wasn't even, once I was hurt twice, senior year, it got to the point I wasn't practicing. I didn't participate in preseason, postseason, any of that, because in most times I was game day. Like, I'm not practicing. I'm over there on the bike. I'm just playing in games. Because we didn't know why I kept getting stress fractures, which were season-ending injuries. So I had it. Thank God, because postseason and preseason in college is like it's a really tough thing. So mentally, it strengthened me mentally because I had to figure out a way to be able to stay on the court. Because I was averaging about 30 minutes a game too, senior year. So to just be like, okay, I'm not practicing, but I'm playing in games, that was like a big deal. And it was eye-opening. Like, I'm not risking or putting my body in jeopardy anymore. So I didn't think or even consider doing anything after college.
Okay. So hold on. Before life after basketball, I do want to know, like, what awards and stuff that you got before leaving.
No, I didn't get any awards.
You just got the 2 Horizon. That's still.
I got 2 Horizon League championships. I have the rings to prove it. But I didn't get any like personal awards. I had some, and I do want to talk about that because even transitioning from high school to college, it was a lot of maturity that happened, because going into college, I'm like, I just want to see our team win. Like, we're losing. What do I have to do to win? And the sacrifice that most people don't realize is sometimes you go and you don't have to be a star player for the team to win, and you sacrifice that to, okay, what else? How else? What voids are we missing? What void can I fill? So I would consider myself a role player. I played a lot of minutes. I contributed to the team, to the success of the team. I was an emotional and mental leader of our team. And for me, that was enough. So I definitely was more of a role player in college.
Yeah. Oh, Steph, I like how you put that, as far as, you don't have to be the star player win games. It's okay to take the back seat and do what you got to do, and it's bigger than basketball. I'm pretty sure y'all done built the relationship off the court, hanging out and all, and that means a lot. So yeah, Steph, I like how you put that. See, that's going to King. I should have went to King, man.
But basketball is a great teacher in life. Basketball is a great teacher.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Now, life after basketball. So you choose, or you don't have the mindset to go overseas. Now, is that when you start getting into coaching? Because I know you coached the Milwaukee Aces and you helped out is it UW Stevens Point?
Yeah.
Is that when you start getting into coaching?
Yep. And I think that like being on the sideline when I was injured, it was it a light bulb went off. Like maybe you should get into coaching. Maybe that will be better for you. And it allowed me to see the game differently. And I forget what I was listening to, but they said basically saying like you can't, like, I guess people who comment on the game and never played the game don't really have a say in what's going on. But I think that's not true. And I say that because a lot of coaches weren't, I can't say they never played ball, but they weren't star players. Like all of them weren't star players, and a lot of star players couldn't coach. It's a mentality shift. And I think like you just have to have it to do it. So I felt like when I was on the sideline, I was developing it, like a real like it's I don't know what word I'm looking for specifically, but like when you're on the sideline, you just see things differently, things that you don't see as a player. And so I thought that was like that would be a better route for me. So I went to UW Stevens Point. I was a graduate assistant coach, a Division III program in Wisconsin up north. I got my master's from Stevens Point. But then I wasn't really fulfilled as a person coaching there, so I came back home after my first year.
Okay. And then I know I don't want to, I know when after the coaching, you say you want to fulfill with yourself. Is that when priority started?
Already happened a few years after that.
Few years
but
after.
it wasn't a point where I'm like, I'm not fulfilled out of life right now.
Okay.
Because I'm a giver, and I'm always pouring into other people, and I'm always saying yes to assisting people in, living out their dreams and just creating and helping them execute their vision. And I was just saying that I had a strong run, like an amazing run. I would never take that away because I enjoyed it too. And it was just like me hosting and just really being involved in the city. But in turn, that left me really drained. And I just didn't have any energy. I love to write, so I was writing. I blogged, and the blog was titled Priority. And for my 32nd birthday, I got a logo made, and I said, I'm gonna sell 32 sweatshirts for my 32nd birthday. And it went from there.
Yeah. Oh, see, Steph, see. Now, I done brought priority gear before, and
I appreciate you.
Oh yeah, for sure. And to hear that you got a logo made and sold 32 sweater shirts, for your 32nd birthday, that's dope. So once that blew up for you, is that when you knew like, oh, I could start, selling merchandise?
Yep. And in the beginning, I had no clue what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
I had absolutely no clue what I was doing at all. So it was a lot of trial and error, a lot of mistakes. I was just waiting. We live in such a trendy time. I was kind of waiting for it to die down. Every week I'm like, okay, well, people aren't going to want priority more. And the more I would think that, the more people would want priority. But I think it's so much bigger than just a clothing brand. It's all about the mission associated with it. And like even being a new mom, you learn quick like the importance of prioritizing yourself. And, I have to walk my talk and go back to like, I have to make myself a priority so that my son he gets the best me he deserves to get. So it's the mission that resonates with so many people. And I'm just thankful that God put it on, my heart. He put it in my pathway to tap into, because I do feel like it's made a difference in a lot of people's lives.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you beat me to it too, Steph. I was about to ask you, well, tell us what priority is about, but you
Yeah.
just said it. So, I hope everyone who buys, or who's following, who's buying your stuff, I hope they understand like the meaning, and but yeah, just the name itself, especially, I mean, I think it can touch everyone, but I
Oh,
think it can just
absolutely.
really touch the women, like just
That's my
make it,
target.
yeah, just really touch the women when it comes to being a priority, so.
Mhm. You got to think that women, we're taught to be nurturers and to make sure everyone around us are okay, whether it's the husband, the boyfriend, the kids, the community. Like, we take on a whole lot, and nowadays, like, it used to be where women took care of the house, right?
Mhm.
The home, let me say that. Nowadays, like, we can go to school, we can have careers, we can be entrepreneurs. And in the midst of all that, we're also, mothers and everything in between. So I think that takes on a lot, and we can lose ourselves in the process. So this priority is like your superhero cape. It's a reminder, put yourself first because it's necessary.
Mhm.
It's not selfish.
Yeah, oh yeah. No, it's far from selfish. So I know that you have a lot of other things going on right now for the community. I know you is it not a commentator. It's you do something for Marquette. I don't know. I
I
try to
did.
figure
I had to take a break this year because of
out.
my health. Um, so once I gave birth to my baby, my body response to giving birth was not the best. So I did suffer from high blood pressure, which turned out to give me congestive heart failure. And I learned my heart was only functioning at 24%. So right now I'm prioritizing my health so that I can see my baby boy grow up and be a part of his journey as long as I possibly can. So I did take a break from a lot of different things.
Okay.
Um, and I'm walking my talk and prioritizing myself. So that's really the focus right now. So unfortunately, I'm not at Marquette this year, but I did have a strong 3-year run at Marquette. So
Mhm. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I'm sorry to hear that too, Steph. You make sure you stay strong. I'm gonna make sure I pray every day. I'm gonna make sure I throw some prayers in there for you, for real.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. All day. So, um, I'm sorry, Steph. Just, ooh.
I know it's a lot. I just put
Yeah,
it out
yeah.
there
No,
now.
no,
I
no,
just
no,
tell
no.
my story now.
Not even the story part, but you just telling me that because you young, Steph. So for you to just tell me that,
I was a whole athlete. I was a whole athlete, and I didn't like. I had the stress fractures, but I didn't have anything as intense as heart failure. I'd never had heart problems.
yeah.
And so it was hard when I first learned of it. I can't lie, because I'm like, I was a whole Division 1 athlete and competed every day. And yeah, but I've gotten past that part. Now I'm just focusing on the recovery journey. So
Okay, yeah, yeah, for sure. And speaking of motherhood, this is your first child, all right? How has motherhood been for you?
man, it's a lot of adjusting. I always tell people he's learning how to be a baby. I'm learning how to be a mom, and we're learning each other in the process. So it's a lot of adjustment, but it is one of the most rewarding jobs that anyone could ever do. Like, I could not imagine someone not enjoying this journey or not being a part of their child's life, because it's just like you learn so much about yourself, and then you're like raising this little this little mini you, and hoping that, you know, he becomes better than you. So I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. I'm so glad that God chose me to be a mother.
Yeah, and I can just tell you love it by the big old smile that you
Yeah,
have.
this my baby.
Yeah.
Even when he be crying and fussing, it's my baby. I wouldn't trade it.
Mm.
And I hope that he plays basketball. If he does not, I'm going to cry. I'm not going to force it on him, but if he doesn't play basketball, I will cry. I really want him to play basketball.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna
Now,
be long. He's a big baby. He's a big boy already.
yeah, well, his mom tall, you know, so how big is he? Pause. Whoa.
No, he just turned 3 months. He's already 16.2 ounces and 27 and a half inches. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. See, Steph, motherhood is dope, but just know when he turned a sophomore, he maybe wanted to drive and stuff, and it ain't even getting toys no more. It's about to buy a car and all.
I've already started my accounts for those the big things. Like,
Yes. Yes.
okay, he has his savings account accumulating interest. Yes, for when he turns 18, great. But we also got a Sweet 16 account. We got a first birthday account. We got an exploration account. Like I never want no I don't want any I don't want finances to ever be an issue as to why my son can't do what he wants to do. I've been that person. Thank God for basketball. Like, you know, we spent all this time talking about basketball, and I'm so thankful for the game because, like I mentioned, like I'm the first person in my family to attend and graduate. I was able to see so many different places. I was able to just be afforded a lifestyle that a lot of people who come from where I come from would have never or have never experienced it. So super, super, super grateful for basketball. 100%. Like, okay.
Yeah.
So in case my baby don't want to play basketball, and we know basketball can be expensive, I want to make sure my baby have, you know, he has the back end to do what he wants to do, you know?
Yeah, for sure. So Steph, she said, I'm gonna cry if my son don't play basketball.
I want to be a basketball mom.
Yeah, or a soccer mom, that's cool. Or a baseball mom. No, just like
Yeah, well, but it ain't as cool as basketball. Like I actually know that sport.
yeah. Now, recently now I know you said earlier in the interview that you grew up, you had issues and you went through personal things in your life. And I know you just recently got baptized. Like, do you want to touch on that for a little bit? Congratulations getting baptized too,
Oh yeah, no, I'm a little
So,
geeked off that.
for real.
Yes, I think it's just a part of the journey that I'm currently on, like being a mother, and I think I just needed the fresh start. Like that was the push I needed to just disconnect from everything negative that has transpired. Not saying that it completely just vanishes once you get baptized, but you're intentionally making the decision to give your life and to just make better choices. And I think I needed that right now, where I'm at in life. Yeah, the timing is everything. I wanted my baby to get baptized. However, Pastor Ken, shout out to Pastor Ken Locke at Evolve Church. He did explain like baptism is a decision, and babies can't make a decision to give their life to God, but we can do a baby a dedication. So we are going to do a dedication for my baby because we're going to follow and live our lives to the best of our abilities.
Yes, yeah. Dude, like I said again, for real stuff. Congratulations,
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Like for you, I'm proud of you. I could just tell, by
I'm
the
proud of you too for
oh, thank
stepping out and not just seeing you, just try things like you said you wouldn't have tried had you. That's a big deal.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So I just see the energy and the smile, so it's always good to see that, and
Yes.
like I said, congratulations on your being baptized and stuff. So last question, Steph, because I know you're a mother and you probably gotta, get the king.
You said last question was which one?
Okay, I don't see your face no more, Steph.
Hold on, I'm coming.
Oh, okay.
Hold on, wait. Of
Okay.
course, it did that during the last question. Hold on once.
Oh no, you good, you good. It's gonna get edited.
I'm glad my baby just did a good job
Oh
doing
my,
this interview, though.
yes. Shout out to the baby. Yes. You did such a good job. That's why I'm being so soft spoken. I'm usually loud.
We are here. Can you see me? You can see me now. You
Oh,
can see
yeah,
me
yeah, yeah. I can
better.
see you. I can see you. Yeah, yeah. All right. So I appreciate you so much, coming to the show, and congratulations, man, getting baptized and whatnot. And before I let you go, Steph, I want to I want to know, what advice would you give these young women growing up in this world?
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's it. Not basketball related, just advice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Advice. Yeah. Advice
Yes.
or basketball, whatever one you choose. Or you could do both.
Just well, basketball, I would say, like I've always said, basketball is so much more than a game. Everything you're learning is literally transferable. It's a transferable skill. Working as a team, you have to learn how to work as a team to elevate in life. Like we all need someone. Being able to communicate on the basketball court, you have to know how to communicate in the real world to get what you want. You have to be able to advocate for yourself. Shot clocks. Life is short. You literally have this much time. Pay, like, utilize and make the most of the time that we do have. Everyone's not going to go to the league. So what does that look like for you? Like always have a plan B, C, and D. And just embrace and enjoy the moment, because once it's over, it's over. And then I would just say, like, just in general, for everyone watching, women, young ladies, men, everyone. Um, it is so important to me. I always felt like no matter what you do in life, two things people can never take away from you. So it doesn't matter like your financial background, it doesn't matter like, what you're going through. No one can ever take away, one, your character. Always be a good person. Energy is transferable and it always comes back. So be mindful. Always be a good person. And second, the next thing no one can take from you is your education. Okay. Like
Mhm.
always look at every opportunity to learn. You can never know too much. So always be a student of life. And I promise you, being a good person and having the education will get you into doors and around people that can take you to the next level. So yes, that'll be what I leave people with.
Yes, yes. And thank you so much. Y'all have it right here. Stephaine Crosley, the CEO of Priority. Show them that Priority
And
tab.
this is the new drop, the half zip, the priority is like I'm Superman.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm gonna make sure that I have your link, whatever
Yes.
website you provide to me. I'm gonna have it in the descriptions on the YouTube page, and whoever tuned in, because there's been a lot of people tuning in podcast. Make sure you shop and get your priority. Put yourself first, okay?
Make priority to shop.
Yes, yes, yes. So thank you so much, Stephaine Crosley, coming to the Barcode Podcast. I'm doing it for us. I'm doing it for the city, and I'm doing it for Wisconsin. So appreciate you so much for coming to the
Thank
show.
Thank you for even thinking like, which women can I, you know what I'm saying? Because it could be just a male dominated thing. So I do appreciate the invitation and thank you for, the interview.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So you get back to motherhood, and I will be in contact with you. We out, okay?
Later. Thank you.
Just touched down, back on road. Counting money, man, you know how it goes. Hit the VIP and tell my bitch to strike a pose. Hop in mode.